It's time for dinner.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
From the creative mind of Scott Bertelson, after 4 decades of teaching our impressionable youth,
The dinner bell.
you are invited to enjoy conversational morsels for the mind at Mr. B's dinner party.
Yeah, dinner.
Hello out there in podcast land. It's time again for Mr. B's dinner party.
Mr. B's got a table so wide. Pull up a chair, let your worries slide. School days, tales, and a movie or two. He's serving up wisdom with a side of stew. Belly up to the table, my friend. The feast of thought will never end. From travels far to a spiritual climb, morsels of musing served in rhyme.
It's time for Mr. B's dinner party. So sit at the table and take that first delectable bite.
And now, School Days with Mr. B.
Hello, my friends. I know it's been a while since I've done my section on teacher remembrances or advice for teachers, and I have talked about over the last 2.5 years many different things, pet peeves about teaching, some of my experiences, why I think teaching is the greatest profession, and I thought it was time to get back to it today. And so I found this letter online by Tawny Murphy. I don't know who Tawny Murphy is, except that, she works at Las Vegas Valley. And she wrote this really prolific writer for teachers. So just imagine that you're in the first day of coming back from summer, and this person gets up in front of you and delivers this letter. I think you will find it amazing, moving, challenging, and I think it speaks not only to teachers, but to all of us in general. So I'm going to now read it. Dear teachers, I want to begin by telling you a story. Ever since I was a little girl, I've remembered a Walt Disney quote I heard during my first trip to Disneyland. A dream is a wish your heart makes. I was the little girl who dreamed about being a Disney princess and marrying Prince Charming when I grew up. Then my dream evolved in wanting to be a teacher whose alter ego was a Disney princess. I wanted to do something in my life that I knew would make a lasting impact, whether on one person or many. That brought me here with you to mark the end of our summer and the beginning of turning your wishes into reality during another transformational school year. You may not know the extent of the impact you're going to have, but you're about to impact your future and your country's future in ways you may have never thought possible. I can bet that you've each been asked the question, why did you want to become a teacher? Well, for my answer, I think back to the opportunities I was afforded growing up. I had the opportunity to have amazing teachers, to attend school my whole life, to be involved with outside leadership conferences, and do everything I'd set my mind to. When I first think back to my first teaching day in the public school, I think about my students. I think about Jamie, who yelled at his mother during a parent-teacher conference because he didn't understand that there were people who cared about his success. I think about Eduardo, who called me mom for 3 years because he was in and out of foster care and never knew his mother. I think of Yuan, who was pushed through the system because he was a, quote, behavior problem, unquote. I think about Ivan, who wanted to go to college but was told she couldn't because English wasn't her first language. And I think about Devin, who worked 6 nights a week from 5 to 10 on top of going to school because his family was having financial problems. I think about the change I wanted to make in their lives and the sense of personal responsibility I felt for making that change. This school year will be my third year in the city I'm now able to call home, Las Vegas. I was born and raised in Hawaii, but like they say, Las Vegas is the ninth Hawaiian island. Las Vegas is a city with rich history and culture, but it's often overlooked when it comes to the education of our kids. For some of us, this might be your first time to Vegas, so you might be entering your second year here. For others, this might be another chapter in the city where you were born and raised. When I found out I was moving to Las Vegas, I had to let go of the stereotypical images, the glimmering lights of the Las Vegas Strip, the shows, the gambling, the over-the-top food and drinks. I had to take in the words and phrases that are everywhere in this amazing city. As we celebrate this joyous occasion and keep with the vibrancy and spirit of Las Vegas, I want to share a few of those words with you today. First, quote, all in, unquote. If you've ever watched a movie with a gambling scene or walked through a casino, you've heard this phrase from a player who's betting everything that he or she has on a particular hand. As teachers, we go all in every second of every day with our students. We give everything we have to ensure they're succeeding and thriving. We know that our students learn skills and content that we pass on to them, but we also know that we learn every day from our students, making us students as well. We're all in, spending countless hours teaching, participating in virtual classes, supporting our fellow classmates, and collaborating to fine-tune our teaching experiences. Second, quote, bet, unquote. Anytime someone sits at a slot machine or card table, they make a bet. They risk something on the outcome of a specific event. Every time we set foot in our classroom or give students an assignment, we rest on them. We bet they will achieve. We bet they will succeed. We bet they will beat the statistics. Third, odds. When someone makes a bet, they consider the probability of winning. Students in low-income communities do not have the odds in their favor when it comes to educational access and outcomes. Your students have a better chance of beating the odds when they have teachers who believe in them and care about their life, happiness, and overall success. I charge you to be one of those teachers. Before I close, I want to share a quote from one of my all-time favorite Disney movies, Lilo and Stitch. Ohana means family, and family means no one gets left behind or forgotten. This is a concept I try to embody in my classroom, and I encourage you to incorporate some form of it as well. Growing up in Hawaii, I've learned that family is the most important thing in my life. Without it, you don't have anything. Your classroom is your family. The teachers, staff, administration, and students at your school are your family. We have to ensure that our classrooms are family for our students as well. We have to make sure our students are not left behind or forgotten. I'm putting on my teacher hat now and giving you an assignment. Take that famous tagline from my city, quote, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, unquote, and challenge it. Don't leave behind what happens here in this new chapter of our lives as amazing teachers. Take what you learned and will learn from your education, your opportunities, your dreams, and your students, and share it with the world. You are the change we need in our future. It's time for you to defy the odds. Make a bet on yourself and go all in on your future and their future. It's time to take all that you are and make the change we need. Here's to the new school year, friends and teachers. Let's make it the best one yet. And may I support that. Now, being out of the classroom coming up on 7 years, and I miss it as much as the day that I left, but I still have that opportunity to work with young people in a subbing situation. I completely concur with what she is saying. You make a difference every single day. By something you said, by the way you acted, by the way you presented a lesson. The list goes on and on and on. So please, please, please consider yourself incredibly important as an educator for our young people. They are our future.
Don't you forget this.
For the next course, come one, come all. Nothing spoiled here. From comfort classics to what's hot now. Film reviews from Mr. B's Rewatchables.
Folks, I have shared with you last time we were together about the creativity and genius of Carol Burnett.
Hello, everybody. Eunice is here. Untalented Eunice. Unwanted Eunice. Caterwauling Eunice. Monster Eunice is here.
And I hope that you've taken the time or will take the time to watch some of her amazing skits on YouTube or watch it on a streaming channel or a cable channel, because it's unmatched, even to this day. But there was a show that I used to really, really, really enjoy as a child that was close to Carol Burnett, and that was the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour.
From Television City in Hollywood.
Yes. This show premiered in August of 1971. Oh my goodness, where was I in 1971? I think I was in middle school. The show was canceled in May of 1974 due to their divorce. But the duo did reunite in 1976 for a show that was very similar, and they called it the Sonny and Cher Show. And that ran for 2 seasons, ending in 1977, the year that I graduated from high school. Now, the Sonny and Cher Show was a great show because they would come out and do a monologue, and the standard joke was that Cher was always putting Sonny down.
The audience really did. They loved us a lot, and you know what they liked the best? No, this is they liked when you when you tried to put me down. Yeah. And I'd play the fool, and then I'd come back at you with my razor sharp wit. Remember that? That's what they when I'd come back at you. Remember that?
I remember when you played the fool, but.
Now, was it like that in their real marriage? I don't know. I didn't live with them. So anyway, and she always gave him this condescending look like, you're stupid, you don't have any talent. But he took it because it was part of the routine. It was shtick. And then they would sing songs together because they did build their first part of their career on singing as a duo. I've Got You, Babe. The Beat Goes On. And Sonny was quite an avid songwriter. And he discovered Cher, who was quite a bit younger than Sonny. And they became this duo. And so they were approached by CBS to see if they could do a summer show, which became very, very popular. And it was very much like the Carol Burnett Show, where it had comedic sketches. They would talk about their relationship. Cher would normally sing a solo. It was very, very very well watched, I should say, especially by me, I remember, because of the gorgeous, hello, gorgeous, gowns and outfits that Cher would wear, designed by Bob Mackie, who made the costumes for the Carol Burnett Show. They were outstanding, and really, that really added to the popularity of the show. Sonny and Cher performed lots of duets on the show. They had many, many, many guests on the show. They usually had, I would say 2 or 3 different guests for every episode who would sing or be a famous actor, or they were promoting something, as they always did. And then Cher would sing with the group. I remember her singing with the Jacksons, Tina Turner, Bette Midler, Elton John, many famous people. Then they would do really kind of funny skits. And one character that Cher portrayed, I believe her name was Laverne, and she was a woman with this bizarre hair and earrings and leopard outfit, and had this really bizarre, whatever that is, voice, who got herself in so much trouble. It really was hilarious.
Now, have you ever seen a high fashion outfit like this?
No.
On Park Avenue?
No, but I think I saw one kind of like it on Mercury Moors.
Who's Mercury Morris? He's crazy about me, Olivia. You'll have to hold him back.
Hey, listen, really, I came in here for some help. I'm looking for a girl.
Well, search no more, sweetheart. You have found a diamond. In the treasure chest of love, I'm it.
Oh, Joe, you better watch that. Laverne's husband doesn't like it too much.
Oh, well, I don't blame him. I don't like it too much myself.
So in every show, Sonny would exchange what I would call banter with Cher, allowing Cher to put him down in a very sarcastic, comic manner. And then, of course, at the end of each show, they would sing, "I Got You, Babe." So I guess everything was resolved and they loved each other again. And they usually had their daughter, Chastity, with them. Many people were on the show: George Burns, Glenn Campbell, Tony Curtis, Phyllis Diller, Jerry Lee Lewis, Ronald Reagan, Burt Reynolds, Dinah Shore, Sally Struthers, The Supremes. But in the fourth season of October 74, the show was scheduled to return, but Sonny and Cher had separated from each other. So the show was canceled. I mean, how could you do a show if you no longer talk or speak to each other? And so then it was decided that Cher would evolve into a solo act. And that show started in 1975. And it did very well in its short run. During the second season, Cher decided to end the show to work with Sonny again. They were divorced, but she wanted to have that relationship. Also at this time, Sonny had had his own variety show on ABC. But that was a failure. And Cher, she became much more successful, both in the ratings and by fans. And so Cher was unable to perform many of her sketches and characters for the comedy show on this show. Sonny had them on his show instead. So there was some conflict there. But I remember this distinctly. I remember sitting in my living room and watching this. The premiere of the Sonny and Cher Show, 76 to 77. And no longer were they bitter with each other. Now they were simply performers. They reunited for that show, which had never been done before, that a couple had been married and then came back divorced and still did the show. It had the same format, but different writers. And their conversations, though, were a little more subdued and low-key. And at that time, Cher was married or was going to get married to the rock star Greg Oldman. And also during the production, Cher was pregnant with Oldman's son, and then she had her son Elijah. Being divorced, some of the jokes are a little awkward. For example, in one opening segment, Cher gave Sonny a compliment, and Sonny jokingly replied, "That's not what you said in the courtroom." Okay, I find that funny. Whether that was an ad lib or an assigned comeback, I don't know. It did have enough interest that it was renewed for a second season. But by that time, unfortunately, the variety show was losing its importance on television. And Sonny and Cher was one of the last ones of that type of show. The show's final show, it was a mid-season replacement in 1977. It was moved to the Friday night, what they call death slot, which I guess nobody watched the TV on Friday night, and the show got canceled. A lot of people they had on that show: Frankie Avalon, Muhammad Ali, Raymond Burr, Barbara Eden, John Davidson, Farrah Fawcett, Bob Hope, Don Knotts, Jerry Lewis, Twiggy, lots of different people. For all of these shows, they taped its opening and closing segments in front of a live studio audience. Many times on the revised Sonny and Cher show, there was a concert segment. This was also taped in front of an audience. But many of the comedy segments were taped without an audience. And what did they use? A laugh track. So it wasn't done in front of an audience. So there's a little tidbit you may not have known about that show. And it did receive a number of nominations over the years. It has become famous, even though I have not found any cable channel or streaming service that is running the reruns. It was originally seen on TV Land, and then what they did, just like the Carol Burnett show, they edited it down to a 30-minute show, and they discontinued broadcasting the series in 2000. So I would say probably, unless you buy the box set, which I think you can do, both versions of the Sonny and Cher show and the Cher show solo show, would be to go to YouTube, and you could find performances there and skits that they performed. So, again, a blast from the past. Again, you might say, why a variety show? Because Sonny and Cher were natural comedians. Yes, they first made their name famous with singing, but then it evolved into this great, quirky relationship of jokes attacking each other on stage that people really liked. And then we found out that the jokes probably were real, and then they were divorced, and then they joked about that. So, unfortunately, Sonny died a number of years ago in a tragic skiing accident. He did get remarried. I believe he had children. And Cher, I believe she's in her early 80s at this moment, is still a performer and is still as vibrant as she ever was. So if you're looking for something fun, just fun, take your mind off your troubles. Sit down, have a glass of lemonade, have a little Debbie. Whoops, can't have that. Anyway, I can't. Anyway, enough of that. But tell yourself, I want to find some entertainment. I hope you can find the show somewhere. Maybe I just haven't dug deep enough in what's happening on television to find that show. Maybe it's on Tubi. Maybe it's on some other freebie streaming TV service. I'm not sure. But maybe you could take a look and see if you could find it. Sonny and Cher. For those of you who are devoted to my podcast, and God bless you for that, and maybe I'll send you a Christmas card. Oh, that's right, I don't send those anymore. I can't afford the postage. Anyway, you know that I've talked about get ready, plethora of different movies from all different genres, from all different time periods. Is there a rhyme or reason in the order that I go? Absolutely not. I might be going through the Tubi listings, and there's a movie that will catch my attention. I'll say, oh my goodness, that's a classic. I should talk about that. And that's what it was when I came upon this film. The 2004 American psychological drama, written and directed by one of the biggest, I think, upcoming directors, Damien Chazelle. The movie is called Whiplash.
All right, gang, Whiplash. Little under tempo, okay? Neiman, just do your best.
And I remember seeing Whiplash on cable, or maybe I even saw it in the theater. I think I did. And I was still in my prime, so to speak, of teaching and talking to one or two students who saw this, and we would talk about what we really thought was going on, and was the music teacher really that vile, or was he just trying to find a way to motivate this young man? And never definitely came up with a real answer, because I think you're supposed to just keep coming back to it. Every time I see it, I come up with different results of how I feel, whether he was real in his abuse or whether it was an act.
Why do you suppose I just hurled a chair at your head, Neiman?
I don't know.
Sure you do.
The tempo?
Were you rushing or were you dragging?
I don't know.
Start counting.
5, 6, 7.
In 4, damn it! Look at me!
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, was I rushing or was I dragging?
I don't know.
Count again.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Rushing
4.
or dragging?
Rushing.
So you do know the difference.
It starred Miles Teller, I believe, as the young man, and I don't know where he's gone on with his acting. He was amazing. J.K. Simmons, who was the band director. Superb job. Absolutely superb. You might have seen him. He sells the insurance. Oh, my goodness. He was in Being the Ricardos. He played Fred. He's been in other things, too. Paul Reiser, very small part there, played the father of Miles Teller. And the girlfriend was Melissa Benoist. So it was a very small cast, very small budget. It focuses on an ambitious music student and aspiring jazz drummer who is pushed to his limit by an abusive instructor at a fictional conservatory in New York City.
Yes, you are upset.
Yeah.
Say it.
I'm upset.
Say it so the whole band can hear you.
I'm upset.
Louder!
I'm upset.
Louder!
I'm upset.
You are a worthless, friendless, lip little piece of shit whose mommy left daddy when she figured out he wasn't Eugene O'Neill, and who is now weeping and slobbering all over my drum set like a 9-year-old girl. So for the final father time, say it louder!
I'm upset.
It premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, where it won the Audience Award Dramatic and the Grand Jury Prize Dramatic Award. The film received great acclaim for its screenplay, direction, editing, sound, mixing, and performances. They made it on a budget of $3.3 million, which is unheard of today, and it went on to gross $50 million. It did win the Academy Award for Best Film Editing and Best Sound Mixing, and was nominated for Best Picture and Best Adapted Screenplay. Simmons' performance won the Academy Award, the Golden Globe Award, the Critics' Choice Award, and the Screen Actors Guild Award for Best Supporting Actor. Many people consider it, as I do, one of the best films of 2010s. So the story, just a little bit of the story. Don't want to give it all away. I want you to see Whiplash. Jazz drummer Andrew Neiman goes to this conservatory in New York City, hoping to leave a legacy like that of his idol Buddy Rich, who was a world-renowned drummer. Terrence Fletcher, the conductor here, recruits him to play in the studio ensemble. as an alternate for a core drummer. Andrews, the young man, discovers that Fletcher, played by Simmons, although friendly and encouraging at first, is relentlessly strict and verbally and physically abusive. I mean, very, very verbally abusive. This is not for the faint of heart. There's a reason why this film earned an R rating. What spews out of that man's mouth, thank you, Scott, mouth, onto his students in public is very, very vile and upsetting to watch and very disgusting. Well, there's one time when the student fails to keep tempo on the Whiplash song during their first ensemble rehearsal. The teacher throws a chair at him, slaps his face, and berates him. Yes, in front of everybody. But the rest of the people were so deathly afraid of this director. So Andrew practiced and practiced until his hands would fester and blister and bleed. Anyway, after their first set of the jazz competition, Andrew misplaces Tanner's sheet music. Tanner can't play without the sheets, so Fletcher assigns Andrew to perform Whiplash from memory, resulting in Schaefer winning the competition. Fletcher promotes Andrew to core drummer. However, Andrew is taken back when Fletcher abruptly reassigns the position to another guy, a drummer from a lower level ensemble. Andrew unfortunately clashes with his family, breaks up with his girlfriend to focus on his ambitions. This film says a lot about how far do you go to pursue your dream. What will you give up? Fletcher begins rehearsal, Simmons, by announcing that a former member of the band died in a car crash. He then pushes the three drummers to play a faster tempo on a song called Caravan, keeping them there for 5 hours. Andrew is the only one who earns the position back. Unfortunately, on the way to the next competition, Andrew's bus gets a flat tire. He rents a car but arrives late and forgot his drumsticks. Races back to retrieve them, but his car is hit by a truck. Even though he's very injured, he crawls from the wreckage and runs through the theater, bloodied and weak. He struggles to find the tempo. Fletcher halts the performance to dismiss him from the band. Andrew attacks Fletcher on stage and unfortunately is expelled from the conservatory. Andrew unfortunately abandons drumming, but he does see Fletcher a year later playing at a jazz club. Over a drink, Fletcher admits his teaching methods were harsh, but insists they were necessary to motivate his students. That's the major core of this film. Did he use these harsh, vile teaching methods to motivate kids to do the very best they could? Or was he just an evil, disgusting person? Fletcher says that he wants to invite Andrew to perform with his band at a New York Jazz Festival because he's lost his job at the conservatory too. Fletcher tells Andrew he knows it's an amazing scene. He goes right up to Andrew. Andrew has just been entrapped in the web, the spider web. Fletcher comes up to him and says he knows that Andrew testified against him. Fletcher leads the band into a new song that Andrew does not even know. So what happens? Andrew walks off the stage humiliated. But he decides to return to the stage, go to the drum kit, and cut off the next tune by cueing the band himself into his specialty, playing for the song Caravan. Now, Fletcher, Simon, is angry, but he resumes conducting. And then you have, at the end of this film, the most miraculous, stupendous, gratifying, amazing drum solo I have ever witnessed. And Fletcher seemed to be happy about it. And that's largely the end of the film. You don't know if their relationship is reconciled. You don't know if Andrew goes back to the conservatory. You don't know what really happens. And it is, by today's standards, a very small film. But the emotional wallop is unprecedented. I can guarantee you that you will be shocked by how Simmons portrays this instructor at this conservatory. And you might ask, how does he get by with this behavior, this language, this way of conducting himself? He was world-renowned and had produced great musicians. And I still, to this day, don't know if I should have respect for the Simmons character, for how he really did have a part in Andrew finding his strength as a performer. Or should I say, Andrew found that all himself without any help from this worthless, disgusting, vile, demeaning, and may I use the term loosely, person. I'm not going to give you the answer, because that's up to you. So if you want a film that has superb jazz music, amazing performances, and some of the best solo drum playing I have ever heard, and a story that will be with you for days afterwards, please consider Whiplash. See if you can find it. I know it's on the Tubi streaming service, I believe. See if you can find it on a pay service, maybe on a cable channel. You could buy the film. And as the critics said when it came out, it's exhilarating, it's extraordinary, it's astounding, it's electrifying. I ever so often have to come back to Whiplash. And what draws me to it is answering the question, how far, as I said earlier, will you go to pursue your dream? Will you let anyone or anything get in the way? See the film Whiplash.
Sit still. I said, I can't. Something's tickling me. She thought I was crazy. She said, well, open your coat. I unbuttoned my coat and opened it up. There was a mouse.
Stories. Everybody has them. The stories of our parents, grandparents, and our friends remind us who they are.
That's kind of what I think it is, too, is memories. Growing up, my dad was an English teacher.
How they got here, and what they've learned on the way. What if you could collect as many of your loved ones' stories in a high-quality audio format to keep forever? What if you could share the sound of your loved one's voice, their laughter, and their thoughtful manner with your children, or when you are simply driving to work?
He spent literally 3 months in North Dakota freezing buckets of ice water to make this awesome ice fort that we never spent time in, but it was amazing for the moment it was done.
Well, you can with a Sunny Side of Life biography. Produced here at Sunnyside Farm Studios, I'll sit down with your loved one for 1, 2, or several sessions to record their stories.
I think my students are going to have good memories of me.
You'll receive the full raw recording, an edited selection arranged in audio chapters for easy reference, and produced segments you can use for family gatherings, special moments, or any time you just want to hear your loved one's voice.
And those are probably my most cherished things.
Share it with your family and make it a keepsake, because that's what stories are, keepsakes of the time we had together.
Never forget that. I was petrified of mice after that forever.
Email your query for more information to troy@sunnysidefarmstudios.com. The email is also in this show's notes. Let me record your loved one's story so you can share the sunny side of their life in their own words for years to come.
I actually do kind of remember that now.
Hey, are you still with me? I hope you are. Hey, do you remember a couple of podcasts back I started reviewing movies and reviewing or listing or giving my suggestions of what I like from the 70s, the 80s? Well, I covered the 70s in terms of movies and songs, primarily rock songs that I really like. I'm going to talk today, I think I've talked about movies from the 80s. Now I'm going to shift to some of my favorites from the 80s, largely rock songs. And I'm going to go with the number 25. And I'm not going to sing every one. Nobody needs to hear that. And I'm not going to go into great detail about why that's one of my favorite songs on the radio, or I keep going back to it on Spotify or whatever platform you want to use. But I am going to list 25. So are you ready? For those of you who were around in the 80s. I was happily teaching at that time. And I loved rock music, and I kept up with all the latest artists. And now I watch the Grammys, and I don't know who's performing. What happened? Anyway, my first one is a song or the artist John Cougar. John Cougar still performs. I love his song, Hurt So Good. I believe that was one of his first songs after Little Ditty about Jack and Diane. Oh, there you go. Hurt So Good. Great song. I love his throaty voice. I love his guitar playing. Really fun. Really fun song. All right. Let's go on to my number 2 song, Rock of Ages by Def Leppard. I love the beginning of that song. Now that's... No, I'm not having a seizure. It's not exactly that, but they start with this inarticulate, or it is to me anyway, start, which it really grabs me, but anyway. Rock of Ages. Number 3 I'm going to choose is the song Every Breath You Take by the Police. Huge fan of the Police. And the three of them were absolutely amazing. Every Breath You Take is a great love song. So I will choose that. I would also choose Love is a Battlefield by one of my favorite performers from the 70s and 80s, Pat Benatar. Saw her in concert at the Surf a number of years ago. I think she still performs. She's in her late 70s or 80s. Unfortunately, some people get older. I don't. But anyway, nope. That's not true. That's not true. I'm getting older, but better. Anyway, Love is a Battlefield. Story about a young woman who doesn't feel like she's being appreciated at home, runs away from home, I think, and I think turns to prostitution. Anyway, that's how I recall the video for it. So, okay. Then I, of course, have to include Huey Lewis and the News and the song Heart and Soul. Love that song. I love everything by Huey Lewis. My brother and I will be going to a Huey Lewis and the News tribute band in Des Moines coming up here. They did The Power of Love for the Back to the Future, the first Back to the Future. Then I would go and mention one of the great groups of the 80s, and that would be Van Halen and their famous album Jump. I think the album was called Jump. It had a young person on it with angel wings, and that was a fun video to watching David Lee Roth gyrate in the air, and they really, really could sing a song. Might as well jump. Okay, I did a little singing. Then we get to number 7, if I'm counting correctly, which math is not my strength, and that would be the Cars. There's a tribute band that plays at the Chanhassen in Minneapolis, or Minnesota, I should say. And they do a salute to the Cars, and sometime I would love to go hear them. I listen to the Cars in the car, my car. Get that? Cars in the car. Many times I'll get in a Cars mood and listen to their songs, and you might think it's one of them. Then the next one would be Oh Sherry. Oh Sherry. That's all you're getting. By Steve Perry, who was, I believe, at one time a lead singer for some other group. Now I can't think of the name of the group. All right. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. All right. Next would be the song Dancing in the Dark by Bruce Springsteen. He became quite well known during the 80s, and he's still performing today. There's a new movie coming out. The guy from The Bear, who plays the lead on that show, is going to portray him in a certain aspect of his life. And Dancing in the Dark, that's the one where he's performing live, and he brings Courtney Cox on stage, who was an unknown at that time. This was pre-Friends days. And dances with Mr. Bruce Springsteen. So anyway, let's keep going. Then I would also probably have to include The Boys of Summer by Don Henley. And it's just a great song about what summer can be like and things that happen during the summer and the carefree days of summer. You take a listen for that. Oh, how could I forget? Foreigner. So many great, 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 great hits. But I particularly like I Want to Know What Love Is. I really like their rendition of that. And then, of course, the guy from Creedence Clearwater Revival. Yes, I said it correctly. John Fogerty, The Old Man Down the Road. Oh, yes. That's a great song, too. Let's see. I've got so many to choose from. Where do I even begin? Oh, then I'm going to choose another Huey Lewis song. Oh, yes. Sometimes I do mention a group more than once or a single artist. That would be The Power of Love, as I said earlier, from the Back to the Future soundtrack. That's a great song. Great, great song. Then I would also include Starships. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. And that had members from Jefferson Airplane. And then they turned the group into Starship. And they had a lot of hits in the 80s. So I would include that one. Then I'm also going to include the great solo performer and the member of probably one of my favorite groups of all time, Stevie Nicks, Talk to Me. You can talk to me. She was in the group Fleetwood Mac, and I saw them in concert when I was in college. My goodness, I'll never forget that moment. And she had a very prolific solo career, and now she still performs. I saw her in Minneapolis a year and a half ago, and in her 80s, I believe, and still can rock the house. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Robert Palmer. Might as well face it, you're addicted to love. Oh my gosh. Love that. Probably my favorite video of all time. I believe that I had the right video where he has all the women performing behind him, all dressed the same, all look the same hairstyle, same outfits. Very intriguing, very unique. Been many parodies of that video, but it's a great, great song. Let's see. Like a Rock by Bob Seger. That man could play a song. Like a Rock. Then the song Higher Love by Steve Winwood. That was a great song. Oh. One of my favorite groups, the duo, the Eurythmics. Missionary Man. Oh my gosh. I think when I get done here, I'm going to listen to some Eurythmics on my Spotify on the way home. Thank you for that recommendation. Missionary Man. Great story. You have to listen to it to really get it, okay? These are just all suggestions. I'm just hoping that you will realize that we have wonderful, wonderful, wonderful music in the 80s. Let's see. Amanda by Boston. That was a great song. Oh, let's see. Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. That was one of their first hits. Really great song. They had quite a prolific career. I think they still perform. Or Bon Jovi maybe performs solo. I'm not sure what that would be. Touch of Grey by Grateful Dead. Maybe some of you are Deadheads. I'm not going to go into great detail about that lifestyle, but they were definitely affiliated with a certain lifestyle. So, anyway, let's see. I'm getting close to my end here, but I know it goes way beyond that. Oh, Simply Irresistible. Another Robert Palmer song. Excuse me, Robert Palmer. Simply Irresistible. Simply Irresistible. Very similar to Addicted to Love, but so much fun. So much fun. Oh, yes. And then, we had Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I Won't Back Down. Oh, he had so many hits. He was amazing. He was amazing. And then I don't want to exclude any great famous artists, but I can include them all in a quick 25-song rundown from the 80s. So, you're just going to have to bear in mind. Rolling Stones. Oh, my goodness. The longest running existing band, I think, to this day. They've been on tour 100 times, way over 100 times probably, and they're in their 80s, and Mick Jagger still moves like he's 20 years old. So, Rockin' a Hard Place is one of my favorite songs. You might want to listen to that one. Take the time for that. And my last one, whether that's 25 or 24, once again, where's the calculator? I'm going to go with Aerosmith, Love in an Elevator. And Steve Tyler wrote the song, and it was on their third album, and peaked at number 5. And so you might want to be a big fan of them. So anyway, there's way more songs from the 80s. There are many different styles and genres, of course, in the 80s. There's country, there's I get some rap, easy listening, but I was primarily focused on radio that focused on hard rock songs. And so there you go, folks. The next time you might hear this on an oldies station, if you listen to those like I do, you might say, oh, that's one that B said he really liked for a song. He didn't really say why he liked it, but he said he liked it. Okay. So, it could be the lyrics. It could be the video that accompany it. It could be the actual instrumentation. It could be a combination of all three that attracts me to that song to listen to it over and over and over and over and over. So maybe even in the future, I might focus on one particular artist and highlight his or her greatest hits. So until we do it again, I hope that you listen to the radio.
Let's have a seat round the proverbial table.
Would you like to say grace?
With a nod to our higher power and Mr. B's spiritual journey.
Folks, for my spiritual journey, today I'm going to briefly talk about living in the present. I surely have really emphasized that in order for me to be successful with my eating program, I have to live in the present. I can't worry about what's in the future. I can't lament over what happened in the past. I have no control over that. What I do have control over, well, actually I don't. But what I do have is 24 hours a day given to me by my higher power that I can use to the best of my ability to give of service to my higher power, to be of help to other people, and for me to sustain my abstinence. Here's a reading that addresses that. Unconscious eating is one of the ways I express my lack of conscious contact with God. Eating is a habit and a compulsion. When frightened or angry, I often find myself in the kitchen without being completely conscious of what I'm doing. While preparing meals, I often find myself starting to put something in my mouth without thinking. I hardly know I'm doing it. That is why I must stay in the present, aware of my actions and emotions, particularly around food. Meditation at some time during the day gives me practice and concentrated thought, the experience of being completely 100% present. Before I approach food or food preparation, it helps me to remember the first 3 steps and to say the Serenity Prayer, which, by the way, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And here's another reading that backs up the idea of living in the present. Before entering this program, my tendency as a compulsive overeater was to eat because I had a list of resentments. And I was going to show you. Oh boy, can I relate to that, my friends? If I overeat, I'm punishing you. Really? What kind of logical thinking is that? When I am overeating, overindulging in a culinary delight, or binging, then I am not present to win. I need to be present in my body and aware of circumstances and feelings. I am not aware of anyone or anything when I'm in the food. I'm completely shut off from living. I've heard it said that silence is the only way we can hear God speak. Let me repeat that. Silence is the only way that we can hear God speak. To be present to hear God's message to me, I need to be willing to put away the food, the fork, the spoon, and the hand. Sometimes God speaks to me in a silent meditation through literature, writing, or just by listening to someone at a meeting. I need to be open to receive the gift of God. And the final one I'd like to share about living in the present. I learned that fear hinders me, makes me pull back, keep silent, feel left out with my friends, avoid responsibilities, and miss the moment and all it has to offer. I've learned that once I become conscious of fear's presence, I can choose to dispel it by breathing out faith. Faith is the antidote to fear. Here we go again, folks. I'm going to repeat it. Faith is the antidote to fear. Faith that my higher power is here with me, always has my best interest at heart, and will encourage and guide me to all truth if I ask. With faith, I experience this present moment and taste how good it is. Faith works miracles, and this whole program is a miracle. Live in the present. Turn it over to your higher power. Relinquish your control, and your higher power is going to guide you to make this day a miraculous miracle. And always expect a miracle. Well, there you have it, my happy podcast friends. But I hope I brought some type of entertainment into your life, no matter what you're doing out there. So I wish you well. I wish you the ability to live in the present, enjoy the moment, take advantage of the day as you have it, and love yourself. Bye-bye for now.
Television dramas and comedic reviews, pet peeves buzzing like honeydew blues, poetry sprinkled like salt on a dish, every word served with a twist and a swish. Belly up to the table, my friend. The feast of thought will never end, from travels far to a spiritual climb. Morsels of musing served in rhyme.
Mr. B's Dinner Party is hosted by Scott Bertelson, edited and produced by Troy Thompson, recorded and distributed at Sunnyside Farm Studios, and platformed by Buzzsprout.
Conversations flowing like fine red wine, world journeys mapped with tales divine. He's hosting a dinner for your hungry mind, a banquet of life where you can unwind. Belly up to the table, my friend. The feast of thought will never end, from travels far to a spiritual climb. Morsels of musings served in rhyme.
Subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share with your friends. Listen and enjoy every other Wednesday. Conversational morsels for the mind on Mr. B's Dinner Party.